and welcome back to Brick Gaming YGO. So the other day, I tried out Altergeist in 2 different tournaments, and after playing in 2 different tournaments, I realized how to pretty much play the deck by the ending of the second tournament. But at the first tournament, I really didn't do the best. I went half and half. I went 2-2, and one of those games I should have definitely won, but made a complete mistake during one of the games and ended up losing due to bad side deck choices. So I should have gone 3-1, but I made a mistake. So 2-2 with the asterisks. And then the second tournament, I ended up getting second place playing this deck after making a couple of changes. So this is my updated deck profile for Altergeist after getting second place. Also, before I get into this deck profile, please leave a like, comment, and then subscribe. If you're not subscribed and you're watching this video, definitely subscribe. I do tons of videos on deck profiles, playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Pretty much just about anything Yu-Gi-Oh! Related. Thank you, and now I'm going to get into this deck profile. So first off, we play triple multi-faker. You need to play 3. If you're not playing 3, it's wrong. You want to see as much as possible. Next, triple Maliseek just gets you into multi-faker. You want to play as many of these as possible. Also, it's free disruption on your opponent's turn. Or not on your opponent's turn, but during your turn to send cards from their field to the graveyard. Then triple Marionessor, this grabs you your Altergeist cards, your traps from your deck, just grabs them as free +1. +1s in this deck are amazing. Then we play 2 Silkatus. You really don't want to draw into it. I drew into it a couple times, but I still won games where I drew into 2 of these guys. So, it's not the end of the world. It's just really knowing how to do resource management. And then 1 Conquery, and this card's probably the weakest of the Altergeist, but if your opponent just has big beat sticks and he has a card in hand with some Altergeist on field, this card's busted. You can really make it work in this deck, but you only really want to play 1 because you don't want to see it. Don't play 1 for 1. Basically just gets you into Maliseek, which gets you into multi-faker a lot faster. Super good. Then for the traps, I play triple personal spoofing, double protocol, and double manifestation. I feel like this is the right ratio. I don't think you want to play more than this because a lot of these cards, if you just open them, they're pretty dead. The only one that isn't really dead is personal spoofing if you open it, but you also have to open an Altergeist with it. And a lot of these traps, just early game, aren't super good except for maybe protocol, and then manifestations. Amazing late game and gives you free recursion. So that's the Altergeist spell, or not spells, but traps. Now getting into other traps, I'm still running the Paleozoic engine. I still think it's good. I did cut it down a little bit from the first tournament because I still play triple Dinosaur, but I saw myself citing out this card so much today, citing down to like 1 copy at one point, or just completely taking it out, because it's 2 cards for 1 card, and it's amazing like when your opponent has something that's hard to out. But I realized that Maliseek basically does the same thing, and Dinosaur is okay. It's okay. It's not as good as I thought it was going to be after playing it, but I'm still leaving it in because I feel like it's still really good in certain matchups. And if you go up against one of those matchups, you can just win. Next, I play triple Canadia. This card actually ended up being better than Dinomiscus in this deck, just because it stuns your opponent for a turn. But the only deck that really I didn't play this against was Striker today. Just because Striker, they don't really care if you flip their stuff. It's basically a dead card if you see it. And then finally, double Olenoides. I cut this card down by 1, not because I think it's bad, but because against a lot of combo decks right now, a lot of matchups, it's not very good, including Eldritch. If you play this against Eldritch and you hit one of their back rows and it's like one of their elixirs or something like that, it's just basically giving them more cards and respect, because then they can just go either end phase or during that same turn just go and search your deck, and sometimes like that just really hurts. It really hurts, man. Next, I play Triple Compulse. This card ended up being really good against pretty much any extra deck type decks. Like anytime someone would go into their extra deck, I could just bump this card out and then just deal with a threat, just get rid of it before I even have to worry about it, and really just allowed me to bypass playing against some cards I really didn't want to play against that were high cost for my opponents to make. Next, I played double Lost Wind. Lost Wind ended up being pretty decent. It just kind of depended on the matchup. Like, I always left it in because pretty much every single deck special summons at this point in Yu-Gi-Oh! And then go up against any other stun matchups today. But the thing about Lost Wind is that it's not removable. It halves your opponent's monsters, and if you're doing it on their turn and they still have plays left, they can just link it off or use it to summon out another monster. And generally, it's just okay overall. It's just okay. It definitely helped out in some matchups, like for example, dinosaurs. It helped out in a lot of other matchups, like let's say invoked. It really just didn't really do much against that matchup. Next, double trap trick. I'm going to definitely be bumping this card up to 3. It will just at MVP all day. Like, it will let me go grab a card that I needed from my deck, pretty much any normal trap, which includes all the Paleozoics, Lost Winds, and Compulsory, and it will let me just deal with whatever threat was on the board in the same turn without, having to set and then wait a turn. So this was kind of like made my traps and spell cards and was really good. So I'm definitely going to be running a 3rd copy in the future just because how broken that card ended up being. Next, I played double anti-spell and 1 Imperial Order. So as you can tell, I don't really play that many spell cards. Actually, I only play 1 spell card because I took a budget list. What am I going to do? Pull out extravagances? Nah, we're going to just go with Mega Stun. And honestly, the anti-spells were really good. One of my opponents, when we were playing, he was playing like a warrior deck, kind of like a Goki deck that kind of really just like makes link 4 guys first turn, and it's like a bunch of 2-card combos, kind of like with the Yugi Tuber Grand Championship series. It's only really similar to that, but also playing like Isolde and all that fun stuff. And this really helped out because it would stop his Goki spell card before he could activate. Basically, we had a set, and I could just get rid of it or bounce it back to his hand. And it also helped out because he had Call by the Graves pretty much every game, it felt like. And I would just say, we'll get rid of his Call by the Graves before he could call by something in my graveyard, for example, Meliseek, So, it just was really good in that matchup in particular. And it was also really good against Striker and pretty much anything else I saw today. So I might be bumping Anti-Spell up to 3, because my original thought with Anti-Spell is not going to be very good, because number 1, they can just play it the next turn. Number 2, they could just have a bunch of cards. I won't be able to deal with a bunch of sets. But it ended up being basically that Silcatus, if I saw any Meliseeks, anything like that, I could just get rid of their back row or get rid of their monsters, and this card ended up not even being a really big issue for me. It just ended up winning me a bunch of games, especially against like one of my Orcust matchups. I was just able to crush Orcust just with this card, and it was just really, really broken. And then finally I'm playing triple Solemn Judgments, but I never really saw it today. I really need to see Judgments today, and I only saw it like in 2 of my games today. I cannot see Solemn Judgment at all. So I kind of had to work with like what I had. I might be like bumping up like with Solemn Strikes as well. So I'm thinking like Strikes plus maybe Dark Bribes main deck. I'm just getting creative at this point with like ideas for kind of trying to beat the meta and doing stuff like that. Next, for the extra deck, I play 1 Wing Karibo, and Karibo's an obvious choice. 1 Mistar Boy. You only need 1. I never even played it today, but there's some really cool stuff you can do with it, and it allows you to go for game faster. Next, triple Hextia. Okay, honestly, Hextia is really, really good, but it's really, really unusual to make. Like, I was like making way more other different cards before I was even making Hextia today, just because I really didn't need to make Hextia in all my games. It only really came up like once or twice, and those 2 times it was basically I already had pretty much game on board, or it was already like where my opponent pretty much just scooped it up as soon as I brought it out. So it was just a really just end of game or game ending card today. Next I played 1 Area. This card actually came up, surprisingly. And it's also really good. It lets you search out Meliseek. So late game, if you still have a Meliseek in deck and you haven't used all of them, this card is just so broken. It just searches it, and you have more interruption, more stuff you can do to your opponent. Then I played 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Unicorn. Didn't make any of these cards today. Didn't make a single one of these cards. Why did I make a single one of these cards? Because I never had to. and I played one access code. I ended up throwing this card in at the second locals, and I was like, maybe it'll work out. Maybe I'll be able to make it. I didn't end up making it. I had a couple opportunities to make it, but it was kind of overkill at that point, and it just wasn't worth making. It wasn't worth putting all the resources into it. But I can definitely see where in a couple of the games at the first tournament, if I had gotten this guy out, it would have just been GG. And that's really what I was thinking about going to the second event. And at the second event, it was just like completely different than the first event, but definitely would have helped out at the first event. So I'm going to leave it in for now and just see what I can do with it. Next, I play one Topologic Zero Boros. This card was pretty interesting today. It wasn't really good against any of my matchups, surprisingly. Like, I didn't really ever feel like I needed to bring it out. I never felt like, oh man, Topologic Zero Boros right now would just win me the game. It never really got to that point, so I pretty much am never making it. Okay, next, for the XYZs, I play one Opabinia. And this card was busted today. Oh my gosh. This card was like one of the most busted cards. I made it more than pretty much anything else. Linkaribo is the only card I made more than Opabinia. Opabinia was like just super good. And you can make it with Silkatus. And so if you have an extra Silk on board and you really don't need it on board or something like that, you can just use that plus one of your Paleozoics and be able to activate your Paleozoic trap cards from hand. It also searches your Paleozoic trap cards, so it speeds up that engine, and just being able to play traps from your hand, it's so good, especially with bypassing like anti-spell and the normal trap rules. It basically says, oh yeah, you can play traps as spells, more or less. So, Obinio was just the MVP of the extra deck, and it was super broken all day. Next, we have I can't even pronounce these guys' name. Just put Paleozoic A. So Paleozoic A, only made it once today. It was a really late game, and it was just I felt like kind of like overkill, and just because at that point I was already way ahead of advantage, and I just took a bunch of Paleozoics on my side of the field and just put like XYZ time, and it just came out super late. I think if I was in another grindy match against like another grindy deck, this card would have been so much better, but I could play a bunch of combo decks today, so it never really came up to a point where, oh yeah, I need to make this guy. Next, number 45. Honestly, also never made number 45. At points I had the opportunity to, but I really never had any threats. So if I would probably make this guy if there happened to be, what's that card called? There can only be one on the field, and then just negate there can only be one, or something like that. So, yeah. I think this card's pretty decent. It's just more like outing cards that you can't out alone, or you just don't have an out in your hand. And then finally, Totally Awesome. You all know about Totally Awesome. I made this card just once. It was okay. I never really needed it. I was playing against combo. This card's really good in a stun matchup where we're playing against another stun deck, just because both the game is really resource heavy at that point, and this card would have been amazing in that type of game state. But I was playing combo, so it was never really that amazing, never really that broken. And yeah, that's my extra deck. You can kind of tell you don't really use your extra deck much in the deck. There's maybe 5 to 10 really good choices that you just want to do right off the bat, and then the rest are more iffy and situational. Now for the side deck, Triple Ash. I did not main deck Hand Trapped, but I'm definitely considering doing that because Ash was just amazing today. It got me there all the time. Next, Double DD Crow. This was really good against pretty much Eldritch. I did not play against Eldritch, sadly, but I also play against a lot of combo decks, so Orcust, stuff like that. This card would just destroy them. It was the end times for them with DD Crow, so it actually ended up being really good. Pinkertops. I tied this card in a lot when I was going second, and I never drew into it. Bring Pinkertops back to 3. It deserves to come back to 3. It will have won me so many games. Then Triple Mystic Mine. Honestly, I'm going to cut this out. Mystic Mine really isn't good. like I would basically have cut out all of the Altergeist and then just play Paleozoic with Mystic Mine to really make that work in this deck. So nah. We couldn't Mystic Mine. It was okay, but it was never really used. Then double Cosmic Cycle. I'm going to definitely bump this up to 3. This card was really good in a lot of matchups. Then double Heavy Storm Duster, also a broken card that I also never drew into. So, yeah, no, that felt really good, not seeing Heavy Storm Duster. I might bump it up to 3 just so I see it more. And then double Dark Bribe, and this card actually won me a couple of games today. Somehow I was able to see this card, but, you know, not even my other cards I deal with, like, stuff like that. But yeah, Dark Bribe was just super broken. It was me not paying life points, having my opponent brick draw. You know, it got me out of it evenly at one point, so that felt good. Overall, the deck was really good. At the second tournament, I will, well, for the first and second tournament, I will post down in the description my matchups. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.